Heavenly Father, Jehovah, the creator of lights, whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. And Father, we come before you this day seeking your divine protection from the deceptions of the ancient and honorable, that old serpent who you called in your own writings the devil and Satan, who deceived the whole world. So I pray to you, Father, that we acknowledge that our adversary have been going to and fro in the earth, walking up and down it, for more than thousands of years, Father. He have observed the patterns of men. He have cataloged our weakness. He had developed 666 ways to deceive. These 666 ways of snares fitted for our soul, 666 variations. This endless complexity of deception designed to ensnare us, to snare us in bondage while we believe ourselves to be free, Father. But today, Father, we declare greater is he that is in you, Father, than he that is in the world. So I ask, Father, and I pray to protect us. Guide us with your word. From the lie of our choices, even from our own, when the truth we select from even menus, Father, of this adversary, which you have written, I ask, Father, to protect us from embracing these trains of identity, from naming our bondage to self. I ask to defend us from our slavery of authenticity. I ask to open our eyes, so when we see the choices between the sin rather than choosing righteousness, when we are selecting between buildings even made with hands, or rather seeking the truth in the temples of the body of Christ, we renounce those ways, Father, that appeal to flesh, lust, gluttony, slothfulness, and addiction. We renounce the ways, Father, that appeal to the soul of pride and envy, wrath and bitterness. And we renounce the ways, Father, that attacks our spirit, the doubt and despairs of these false religions and the spiritual deception. So, Father, we ask that you expose every customized snare that the adversary has prepared for us, every trap calibrated for our specific weakness, every lie dressed in garments of truth. I ask to deliver us from the buildings that they call churches, where you, Father, do not dwell. For thy word has declared that thou dwell not in temples made with hands. So I ask to deliver us from the traditions of men and make void the commandments. Because, Father, they don't believe in your word, and they don't believe in your commandments. I ask to deliver us from the religious bondage that conceives slaves that are worshipped and the prisoners that are free. And if we must, Father, must wander in the wilderness, strip every denomination and tradition as we trust in thy Son. Father, you are the good shepherd. Shall seek us, and you, Father, you find us who the ones in the wilderness. You have left many in the wilderness who felt they were safe and they was not lost. But Father, we cry to you that we are lost in the wilderness. And you, Father, have left the 99 to find the one that is lost. So let us be found, Father, of you, the words of Jehovah, and let us be placed upon your shoulders as you can rejoice, and let us be brought into the true fold and not the fold that's made with hands, but the eternal place of heaven. So we ask, Father, for the spirit of discernment to recognize when the adversary speaks, even when he speaks through the mouths of preachers. We ask for the spirit of truth to guide us, Father, to all truth, that we may not walk in flesh with Satan and all his ways is, and the power that he have, but the spirit where his methods crumbles in dust. For we, Father, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers in darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness, Father, in high places. So, Father, we has put on the whole armor of you, which is of God, that we may stand against the wiles of this devil. I ask that you protect us for your hope by thy might in your mighty hand. Hide us under the shadow of thy wings, and let the ancient observers find no entry point. No entry point into our lives, for we are seeking to be sealed with thy spirit and covered by the blood of the Lamb. So, Father, I pray this, Father, in the mighty name of Jehovah, who you have sent to us, our deliverer. This I pray in the name of Jehovah. Jehovah, I will always pray. Amen.
And shalom, everyone. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone to the house of the Lost Sheep of Israel. And I'm the pastor here, Elder Michael Johnson, also with King James Bible University. And I want to welcome each and every one of you guys here today. And we're coming up on this glorious time where we're going to be seeing each other in the next couple of weeks at Tabernacles. So with that, most of us counting down the time to where we can come together once more. So with that, we also have some beautiful announcements I'm gonna make only in Zoom only. So if you decide to join us in Zoom, you're more than welcome. But we have some announcements there, but some real good announcements that's going to be happening within King James Bible University and the House of the Lost Sheep. And I want to make sure that each and every one of us, that we understood, because we reaching the line in the sand. It's line in the sand where some people are going to be lost forever. And pride going to keep them there. And as I said, always, we're going to sit there, we're going to go through, and this is one of the last times I will be bringing this up. I just want to make sure before we dive into this, because right now, for many people, try to turn back. You're too deep. You're way too deep in to turn back, because you will drown. But what I want to make sure we understand is this. I know many people still don't, but we want to understand how many people read and understood the description. Just on the description alone, did you understand it? That's an I for yes and N for the N, no. It's simple. It's either way. If you understood it, yes, and if you didn't, no. If you didn't read it, don't put in anything. Don't lie. So we don't need to lie there. You know. Okay. So we want to go through and make sure that we understood. So what's going on here is this parable. We're going to be unraveling that. because I need to share what you should know as we continually go down. So I want each and every person that is here, each and every one of you guys. Some of you guys can give your air containers to any new people, any Christians that has visited here, because you won't need them. We're going to keep going deeper, so you can give it over to them. But I want each and every person, make sure that you get your pencil, make sure you have a piece of paper, because I promise you, you're going to get 100% clarity as we go through here. And you might see where we're going through chapters. And I've got chapter 1, which we need to understand. So the same thing is on last week. We reached this moment where on last week, when we stood together and we looked at this mystery, this vessel, and I want to make sure that each and every one of us understand together, because this is the only thing to help us. So only way we can continually move forward together is honesty. It's fair enough. Eyes for yes, ends for no. As we move together in honesty, it's the only way we need to go. Eyes for yes, ends for no. So the same thing is, I just want to make sure that we all on the same page. And I see everybody, we all on the same page. So we're going to move together. We're moving together. And I want to make sure that we understand that each and every one of us are vessels. And this is so serious on what we're going to be seeing. This is why I need to make sure you write certain things down. And I'm just like I said, I help you all that I can. And what we're going to do, we got to remember that the vessel that decreases, to understand this mystery, we have to decrease. We're going to examine even how John the Baptist, what he did. We're going to look at something. Let's go over here to John the Baptist. We're going to look at something. I want you to see exactly what I'm talking about. And we're going to go to John chapter 3 and 30. I want you to see this. I want you to see something. And we're going to get down to John chapter 3, verse 30. And remember this, and make sure you write this down. He must increase. Jehovah must increase all the time. But where I is, that's us. So that's you. Individually, that's you. But I must decrease. This is the pattern. This is the unveiled tabernacle pattern. How the Spirit going to dwell in flesh without becoming flesh. How the word operate through the vessel, even with Jesus. I'm using that specifically for a certain reason, even though we know his name is Yahushua, but we want to remove the stigma from that because we want people to understand the vessel Jesus without transforming to flesh. How Jehovah made himself known through creation while forever remaining this invisible spirit. Everybody with me? I want to make sure everybody with me. Eyes for yes, ends for no. I just want to make sure I got to keep doing this check, making sure our pulse is still going, because we're going to go deeper and deeper as we continue to move. And we're going to establish the foundational truth with scriptural precision. Because the people of Jesus' time declared, and they even witnessed, even with their own eyes, that Jesus was nothing more than a prophet. Let's look at this. We want to make sure we all understand. We're going to see this in Matthew chapter 21, but we're going to pick it up at verse 11. And it says, and the multitude said, this is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee. Everybody see this is a King James Bible, so all of us can sit there and clearly understand. If you see it in this King James, so we know many people have the King James Bible. And if they had a King James Bible, they see the same identical thing in your book that they should see it in their book. That's what we want to make sure. It do not say, the people see this, what it said. It do not say, it says not
that it is God walking among us, do it say that? It says the multitude said, this is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee. It don't say this is God walking among us. This is the prophet. John the Baptist, who sent specifically to identify the Messiah, to testify concerning even what he saw. I want to show you that also. We're going to see this over here in John chapter 1, and we're going to look at verse 33. And we're going to see it there also. In 33, it says, and I knew him not, but he that sent me to baptize, to condemn with water, with knowledge, the same said unto me, upon whom thou shalt see the Spirit descending and remaining on him, the same is he which condemneth, that condemns with the Holy Ghost, with the separated body. Everybody see that. I want to make sure all of us see the same identical thing. Many don't have the spiritual dictionary, but you can end up purchasing this, because I do know that Elder Martin actually opened his up. So we can get that. So if so, we can come in Zoom. We can make sure we can take care of that also. But I want to make sure everybody see this and everybody agree to seeing the same thing. Now let's look at another one, because he had to condemn. Let's look at this in Matthew chapter 3, looking at verse 16. Matthew 3, looking at verse 16. And it's telling you, and Jesus, when he was baptized, when Jesus was condemned, and he condemned that flesh, went straightway out of the water, and lo, heavens were open unto him. And he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting upon him, which it remained on him, which this is talking about. So these scriptures, here we understand the precision that destroys the doctrine of men teaching that God transformed himself into a man. Because you see, the Spirit descended and it came down from above, from outside the vessel, but it came from heaven unto earth. So if Jesus, we got to make sure we're clear on this, if Jesus were God, the Spirit would have no need to descend upon him. Have no need to. He would already possess within himself from eternity. But the scripture said the Spirit descended, which proved there was a moment before descending when the Spirit was not upon this man in this manner. We can all agree upon that with no issues, because the Spirit became lighting upon him as a dove lighted upon a branch. I want to show you something while I'm using this analogy, because with this, a dove do not become the branch. Can we agree upon that? A dove cannot become the branch. The dove rested upon the branch while remaining a dove. The branch remains a branch while bearing the dove. Two distinct things, one resting, one bearing. The Spirit of God resting upon the vessel of Jesus. The Spirit is remaining spirit, and the vessel remaining in the vessel. Two are perfectly unity and never confusing the nature. Everybody agree with that? Can everyone agree with that? Either hearts, you can run up hearts, or you can run up eyes. Either way you want to do it. I just want to make sure we got agreements, because I'm showing you everything here, so we can get that. Now we understand that the Spirit remaining up on him, not transforming into him, not absorbing into him, but becoming the one substance with his flesh, remaining on him as a garment that remains on your body. As the oil remains on your head of the anointed, as the glory remains upon the tabernacle. The vessel was clothed. The vessel was clothed with the Spirit anointed. It was clothed. It was anointed. So with the Spirit, filled with the Spirit, but the vessel never became spirit. So the vessel never became spirit, and the Spirit never became vessel. We have to understand this. This is the testimony of what John saw. We have it all right there. John saw with his own eyes the Spirit descending, the Spirit lighting, and the Spirit remaining, not God transforming, not deity shape shift into humanity, not an invisible becoming invisible by change in nature, but the Spirit resting upon flesh. Can all agree upon that? Can everybody agree upon that? Because all the scriptures are right there. You see them right there. But this is the same pattern that's established the tabernacle, the same pattern that will continue in all believers, the same pattern that churches of men have corrupted with heathen doctrines. With heathen doctrines of this incarnation. Jesus was a prophet filled with the Spirit, not God who became a man. The Spirit of God descended upon Jesus and remained within this vessel, made him Lord of his ministry, but the Spirit was always Lord, requiring no making to possess divine authority. The vessel received the Spirit, and the Spirit did not become the vessel. Everybody with me? I want to make sure everybody is with me. Meaning this, meaning this. The names, write it down. Names declare functions rather than essence. Names declare function rather than essence. Jesus, meaning salvation, anointed, the anointed path or the anointed way through this vessel, not the vessel, is Jehovah. This is the pattern that continues in all believers. For Christ is in you. Christ is in you. Is hope of glory, not becoming Christ, but Christ resting upon you, remaining in you, operating through you. While you remain the vessel, he remains the Spirit. Everybody with me? Everybody with me? I'm not talking crazy, but you can clearly understand what's coming out of my mouth. Now we got to establish this. We establish that we are vessels through whom Jehovah operates. We are vessels whom Jehovah operates, upon whom the Spirit descends, lighting and remaining. We must confront one thing in this one terrifying question that people have to understand. What happens? What happens when a vessel are corrupted? What happens when the adversary, the ancient spirit who have observed every rebellion, observed every fall, observed every pattern of human failures, learns to manipulate the very desire that drive men's choices. So what happens when the enemy understands our nature better than we even understand ourselves? You follow me? You follow me? Okay, let's get a little bit more serious. Today, we entered the unseen warfare. Destiny. Boy. Destiny. All who might have some fear. I'm not going to show you nothing scary, but all who might have fear of truth, this is the time you might need to roll. If you want to keep in a lie, then you need to roll. Because if you want to stay in truth and you want to learn the truth, you stay here, you're going to get some truth. Because we're going to examine destiny. The ancient spirit of bondage that operating not through force, but through illusions of freedom. See, we shall really unveil how Satan, that old serpent, have compiled a library of human failures across the millennium. How he uses knowledge to program desires, to program behaviors, to enslave those who believe themselves to be free.
I warned you. So we got to remember one thing. The dove that descended upon Jesus, as Jordan teaches us, the nature of true spiritual operation, a secret that escaping destiny's programming. I want you to understand something. A dove rested, it do not devour. It do not devour. A dove lighted, it do not crush. A dove remain, it do not possess by force. The spirit of Jehovah works in this way. It's resting upon the willing vessel, lighting gently upon the surrendered souls. And those who decrease, that he might increase. So I want to counsel you today. I want to give you some counsel and some wisdom. See, because Satan, that ancient and honorable deceiver, he operates by opposite principles. He do not rest, he invades. He do not light gently, he seizes. He don't remain by invitation, he programs from within. The spirit descended as a dove. Satan enters as a serpent. The spirit remains upon the vessel. Satan encodes the vessel with predictable desires. The spirit empowers freedom. Satan creates illusions of freedom while forging invisible chains of casualty. You got to understand this. The vessel that decreases is the vessel that escapes destiny's programming. Satan has spent more than 2,000 years studying the patterns of flesh, cataloging our desires of carnal men, mapping the responses of the natural mind. He predicts the choices of those who walk after the flesh. I want to make sure I'm extremely clear here. Satan has 666 ways are calibrated to the old man, fitted to the carnal nature, designed to manipulate the self that seeks his own increase. So when the vessel decreases, when the self is crucified, this is when the flesh is denied. But the old man puts off Satan, programming cannot find the target. Then we know that Satan, his algorithm will fail. His predictions collapse. His 666 ways so perfectly crafted for flesh becomes 666 failures against the vessel that no longer walks after the flesh, but walks after the spirit. Everybody follow me. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you why that happened. Let's look at this. Let's look at this, but you have to pay very close attention to me when we do this. In John chapter 3, we're going to look at verse 8. It says, the wind bloweth where it lists, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but thou canst tell from which it cometh, whether it goeth. So is everyone that is born of spirit. Exactly the point. Exactly the point. Satan cannot predict the movement on one who walks not after the flesh, but after the spirit. He cannot predict it because he don't know from which it comes. He has no data on spirit. He have no pattern on the new man. He have no algorithm on vessels that have decreased. The unpredictable vessel is liberated vessels. Presented in the system, but you're untrackable. Active in the world, but unprogrammable. Walking among enslaved, but you're free. This is why when the dove descended upon Jesus, not merely to empower, but to make him unreadable to the adversary. The vessel that bore spirit could not be predicted by the one who studied flesh for a millennium. Let me break some of this down. So I want you to really clearly get what I'm doing. when Satan tempts, and he tempts you, he tempted him in the wilderness. He customized approaches fail. Not because Jesus was God in disguise, but because Jesus was a decreased vessel. You follow me? He was a decreased vessel upon whom the Spirit rested. So Satan's programming had no power over him. This is the warfare that we enters. So we, as a people, we have to understand that the serpent operates upon flesh. That we, and I'm not begging you of this, that we decrease and become vessels upon whom the doves rest. And then in Satan's domain, but invisible to his surveillance. Why don't you stay with me? Because he's active in his territories. But when we unplug and we unprogrammable by his 666 ways, walking as ghosts in this matrix. We have to be ghosts in this matrix as free men and women in the land of slaves. As children of the wind, destiny can hear but never capture. I want you to understand his position, because this ancient adversary, we have to look at this at his beginning on how he actually works. I want you to think about something. The record. And when we're looking at records, is the records, we want to mark it down, just mark it down, the matrix. The matrix. We want to understand the matrix. There exists the spirit. That's part of that. But we named him, as what I named this lesson, we named him destiny. This is one of the oldest, most powerful spirits within the constructed of man's reality. And we got to depict him as a certain way. We got to depict him as this elegant aristocrat, bored and cynical spirit. He's lawless, but he witnessed many cycles within the matrix. Keep that in mind, because he's been around since the beginning. He's seen many rebellions. He's seen many falls, many rebuilds of Israel type. He has seen all this before. All this he's seen before. This is the knowledge he had made him so arrogant, made him so dismissive of any hope of rebellion. But we got to look at the spiritual side of this. This is the precise, startling, accurate depiction of this adversary, Satan. Satan, this ancient and honorable. He is not a recent foe, but he's an ancient intelligence. Can we all put that together? He's not a recent foe. He's an ancient intelligence. We got to mark that. That old serpent, you see, that old serpent who have observed the pattern of Israel history. He observed our rebellion. He observed our sins from the beginning. His greatest advantage is not creative power, but the wisdom of ages spent observing the predictable fallings of carnal man. And to understand him a better way, Satan is a busybody. Can we all see that? And I'm going to show it to you, because he's a busybody. One who meddles in others' affairs, intruder, or one concerns not of his own. Always in everybody's business, going to and fro about the earth, seeing who he can devour. You follow me? Let me bring you closer a little bit. I'm going to bring documentation. We got records. We have records on this, but let's look at this in Revelation chapter 12. We're going to pick it up at verse 9. And it says that in the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels, his messengers, were cast out with him. But we're going to make some clarity. I want you to mark this carefully. I want you to look at the titles. I want you to look at some titles there. I want you to look at it. In this single verse, it reveals the different aspects of his operation. You see, the great dragon, the beast that devoured nations, he is the old serpent. Look at it. It's all there. Connecting him directly to the deception in the Garden of Eden, establishing his operational history from the very beginning of our existence. He is called the devil. The devil, when you look in the spiritual dictionary, it'll tell you it's the accuser, it's Satan's puppet. He's the evil one, he's the serpent, he's the dragon, he's Legion, he's the fallen angel, he's the wicked one, he Beelzebub, the tempter, the slanderer, the adversary. He got many different ways he worked. In the slander, that accuser who stands before Jehovah accusing the brethren day and night, that's Satan. That's the ancient and honorable. The father of lies. You follow me? And when we're looking at old, this old is critical. This is a critical time. So when you even looking at the spiritual dictionary, old means ancient, means elder, means aged. Beginning of tradition. This is not merely a description of age and years, but it says its very nature of operational methodology. He is the beginning of the ancient tradition, the old ways of rebellion. He predicts man's civilization. He was present in the garden. When it was first, man drew breath. He was there. He witnessed the prehistoric world, not talking about dinosaurs, the prehistory world in its destruction. He observed the Tower of Babel, is what I was getting into. He witnessed the scattering of nations. He watched the rise and fall of every kingdom, every empire that ever existed upon the face of this earth. And you got people saying they want to step on the devil's head. I just want you to think about that as we going through. But I actually got a video on that, but I'm just showing you. And the same thing is in 2 Peter, we're going to see this text, and it's telling us in chapter 2, verse 4. It says, for providing God spared not the angels, these messengers that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into the chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Satan is this fallen messenger, this fallen angel. He's this fallen angel. A spirit who chose rebellion against the Most High. He is not a man who became evil through accumulated wickedness. He is a spirit who possessed knowledge in the position of a heavenly realm before his fall. This, what I'm trying to get you to understand is this means his intelligence is not man's intelligence bound by morality or mortality and limited experience. His perspective is not confined to a single human lifespan, like 70 or 80 years. Satan had observed entire histories of humanity from the position outside of time as we experienced it. He have compiled these observations into comprehensive systems of manipulation. So we have to go deeper on this. We have to go deeper in understanding concerning the ancientness of this adversary. For the scriptures are going to reveal this truth, that the churches of men, these church building men, has failed to comprehend. When Jehovah, he formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. The serpent already existed. When Jehovah planted a garden eastward in Eden and placed man there, the serpent was already present. I want you to see something. Don't move. I want you to see something. And I want to show you something in Genesis chapter 3. We're going to pick it up at verse 1.
And it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. I want you to pay close attention to that. I want you to mark that word was. Was. I want you to mark that. See, the serpent already possessed his subtlety. He was not something he developed after man's creation. He came into the garden with knowledge already accumulated, with the cunning already perfect. He done perfected it, what he was doing. He understood good and evil already formed within his ancient mind. He was subtle. He's telling you something he already had. This is the terror of this adversary. He knew good and evil before man was even tried to prove it. Even concerning this, I want you to think about the power that this spirit has. I want you to consider something. Hearts or eyes or nose or whatever. But I want you to consider something. I want to give you an analogy. I want you to consider a similitude of a chess master, a man who's a chess master, who had played more than 10,000 games. I want you to think about that. Now, as he done played more than 10,000 games, I want you to understand the magnitude of games this man done played with people and professions. Now he sits across from a child, grown or young, who have just learned the names just even of the pieces. The child looks up on the board and he sees 64 squares and 32 pieces. This guy, he's a master at it. This master looks on the same board. He sees 10,000 games. You gotta remember, he sees 10,000 games. He's done seen every opening. He done seen every strategy. He done seen every trap. He done seen every pattern, and he done seen every failure. He sees this. Now, I want you to go back to this child. This child believes he plays fair game because both seats across on the same board. That's what the child gonna believe. But this master have knowledge the child cannot even fathom. Experience the child cannot even imagine. The sight that sees 15 moves ahead while the child consider only the move before him. You think about that. I want you to think about that. So we're going to go back to the garden. So he was in Eden. Man was newly formed, innocent, inexperienced, untested. But the serpent was ancient, crafted before the foundation of the earth were laid, possessing knowledge that predated Adam's first breath. So when Satan approached the woman, our spirits, he was not learning alongside her. Satan was hunting us. He was hunting us. He already knew the nature of the fruit. He already understood the consequences of disobedience. He already possessed the knowledge of good and evil that the tree represented. The tree was a test of us, a man, male and female. Because what? Satan, it was a weapon. Something he understood perfectly that he can weld together those who understood it not. We just say it that way. We got to just say it that way. Because we got to understand the spiritual structure of creation itself. So when we speak scripture of man, when we speak scripture of man, it speaks of the flesh, the earthly vessel, formed from the dust, this carnal nature, but the body and the shape was from the ground. The scripture speaks also of this woman. So when we see woman, we're going to see it speaks of the spirit, the breath of life, the helper, the inner nature that Jehovah placed within flesh to guide us unto righteousness. I want you to stay with me on this. Stay with me on this. Jehovah said this, and I want to show this to you. I got to keep pulling the records because the records is precisely documented in here. Genesis 2:18. The Lord said, it is not good that man, M-A-N, male and female, should not be alone. Should be alone. I will make a helpmeet for him. It's interesting. This was declaring that flesh cannot function righteously without the spirit. This showing you that the flesh cannot function correctly without the spirit. How do we know this? Because he's saying this in chapter 2 on something he already did, but you see in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, he blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply. So he educated them already, but he knew from later that, hey, they cannot function without the spirit. The flesh alone was incomplete, vulnerable, destined for corruption. So it needed a helper. It says it. I'll make a helpmeet for him. So it needs a helper, this spiritual nature that can discern, that can commune with Jehovah, that can guide these earthly vessels in the ways of life. So when Jehovah, he caused this deep sleep to fall upon Adam, the male and the female, and he took one of his ribs and made a woman. It made a woman and brought her into the man. But we got to look at this spiritual mystery. See, Jehovah reached into our flesh and drew forth this spirit, establishing within the man this spiritual nature, which would he be the helper, his guide, his connection to this divine body on how he designed it. And I'll actually show it to you because I'm going to show you, just like I said, the Most High got receipts. He has receipts. Let's look at this in Isaiah chapter 9, but we're going to look at verse 6. We're going to look at the receipt. It says, for unto us, to man, a child is born. For unto us, a son, the servant is given. Receipts. I told you, he got receipts. He have receipts. So the rib was taken from man, represents the spirit that dwells within the flesh, not separated creation from creation. It formed as new dust, but it was a completion established within Jehovah have already formed. So when we're looking at this woman, the woman was brought to the man, this male and female, meaning the spirit was offered unto the flesh, it to help her, to help us. It's the counterpart. It means to commune with the Most High. I want you to stay with me. But I want you to understand within the garden account, here lies the root of man's vulnerability. I want you to understand that. We got a vulnerability. I'm going to show you, just like I said, I got records. Let's look at this in Genesis chapter 2. We're going to pick it up at verse 25. Well, watch what it says real closely. It says they were both naked. Spiritually, we know that's in sin. The man and his wife. So this is our flesh and our spirit, and we're not ashamed. The churches that you see physical, they show you this verse as physically innocence, where were no garments, where no shame in their bodies. But if you hear the spiritual meaning behind naked, as I said, it means in sin, uncovered, without spiritual protection. So to be naked, to be without the covering of Jehovah, and not the covering of the spirit, it exposes us to the elements of this spiritual realm, vulnerable to every attack of the adversary. Everybody with me? So this word, they were naked. So if Jehovah had just brought the woman's spirit unto the man, flesh, because they never truly accepted it. They never accepted that. They never accepted it. So I want you to mark this carefully. You know I got receipts. You know I got receipts on this. But I want you to mark it carefully. When Jehovah brought this woman unto him, I want you to see this pattern, this lie that was created on what he did. It's a truth, but we're going to see how it worked out. Let me show it to you. We're going to look at this in Genesis chapter 2. We're going to go up a little bit. Let's go to 2. We're going to go to 19 and 20. Pull the receipts on this. And you're going to see right here, it says, and out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast of the field, every fowl of the air, and brought it unto Adam. I want you to look at the receipts. And brought unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called together every living creature, that was the way thereof. That was the name. In Adam, the male and the female gave ways to all cattle and all the fowl of the air and every beast of the field. But for this male and female, there was not found a helpmeet for them. Interesting, ain't it? Interesting, ain't it? Now, I want you to understand something. When Jehovah brought these beasts unto Adam, Adam named them. Jehovah brought fowls unto Adam, Adam named them. He told their ways. He exercised dominion over them, as he said in Genesis 1:28. He established his authority over them through identification. Everybody with me? He demonstrated his superiority over them by assigning their designations. Naming was an act of rulership. Naming them is an act of rulership. So the one who names is greater than the one who named. The one who named is the greater than the one who named. But I want you to observe really Adam, thinking about it, what happened. I want to get down to 23. Let's go down to 2:23. I want to just get to, it says, and Adam said, I want you to pay real close attention. Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman. So now he going to name this. She should be called woman because she was taken out of man. I want you to closely look at that. He did exactly the same thing he did with those animals. Jehovah brought the beasts. Adam named them, correct or not correct, hearts or eyes. When he brought him the beasts, he named them. When he brought Adam the fowls of the air, Adam named them. Tell me it ain't true, because I go right back to the receipts. And then Jehovah brought the woman. Adam named her. Adam named her. Ain't that a trip? Okay, Adam, this really for you. No, I'm going to name her. She should be called woman. He treated the spirit of Jehovah with the same posture as he treated the cattle and the birds. He exercised dominion over what was meant to have dominion over him. I want you to think about that. He established his authority over what was sent to have authority over him. He demonstrated superiority over what Jehovah sent to guide him. Look at it. He brought her to him and he named her. Boy, Negroes. Negroes. So when Jehovah brought the beast, the proper response was to name them. For man was given dominion over the beast. You see it in Genesis chapter 1. When Jehovah brought the fowls, the proper response was to name them, because that's what he wanted to see. The man was given authority over. But the problem is, when Jehovah brought the spirit, this helper, this guide to cover, the proper response was not to name, but to receive. It wasn't to name him, it was to receive it. Not to exercise dominion, but to submit. Not to demonstrate authority, but to acknowledge the greater authority. Not to assign a designation, but to self-governance of it. But Adam only knew one response. Bring it over here. Yeah, Lord. Yeah. Bring it on over here, Lord. Bring it over here, Lord. Bring it over here. And he brought it over there, and he named it. Tell me we don't do this. We're good at doing this. He placed the spirit of Jehovah in the same category as he'd do with cattle and birds, something to be labeled, identified, to be ruled over, rather than something to be received and submitted and be governed by. Tell me we don't do it. Tell me we don't do it. Adam named her. Adam acknowledged her. He identified her origin, taken out of man. He identified all this, but Adam never received her to be his guide. He never submitted to her as his helper. He never accepted the spirit of Jehovah as governing authority over his flesh. He named what should have been received. He dominated what should have dominated him. He categorized with the beast what Jehovah sent to elevate him above the beast. Tell me it ain't true. Tell me it ain't true. We got records. You got the records. So we're going to look at something. The same pattern in religion today, until this very day. Men today, women today acknowledge God. They name God. They speak about God, the Spirit, but they never receive the Spirit as the Lord over their flesh. They keep their own spirits. They maintain their own understanding. They walk in their own counsel. They do with Jehovah with Jehovah what Adam did with the woman, doing the same thing. They assign him titles. They give him designations to identify his attributes, but they speak eloquently about his nature while treating him as something to be named rather than something to be obeyed. This place the Most High in the same identical category as beasts and fowls in their intellect. Something to be labeled and studied and discussed, rather than something to be surrendered and governed by. I showed you the receipts. Reason why is because many of us as a people never truly accept the spirit that Jehovah brought unto them, because they're naming like their cattle rather than receiving like a king. They remain naked, in sin, uncovered, vulnerable to every deception of the serpent. Now you follow me? Then we're getting a little bit closer, right? This is a pattern. This is a pattern that men every day do. They acknowledge God. They acknowledge Him. They name God. They speak about God. They never receive the Spirit over their flesh. They keep their own spirit. They maintain their own understanding. They walk in their own counsel because they never truly accept the Spirit that Jehovah brought to them. They remain naked, uncovered, in sin, vulnerable. So the same thing is Adam, he named the woman. Look at it. He made a woman and brought it unto the man. And then he said, hey, Adam, hey, Adam, come here, homeboy. Hey, Adam, I want to talk to you. I got this here. I got this woman. I want you to see it. Right here in 22. It says, in the rib which the Lord God has taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto Adam. So he made a woman. I want you all to see this. So Jehovah brings this woman to Adam. Say, Adam, yeah, what's up? I brought this woman. I want you to name her. She should be called woman. You can't even make it up. What you gonna call her, Adam? Woman. Later, he ended up calling her Eve, which is a flesh. But he named her woman. Adam, what you gonna name the woman? Woman. What you gonna name? Woman. Naming is not receiving. Acknowledging is not accepting. So identifying is not submitting. So the flesh can speak eloquently. What you gonna name her, Adam? Woman. The spirit never once surrendered to the spirit. That is governance. This is precisely the condition that made Israel so vulnerable to Satan. Why? Because we kept our own spirits. This is why Satan can deceive us. We got to understand the strategy of this adversary, Satan. See, when Satan approaches the woman, but to which woman? See, this is again where people mess up. To which woman? But I want you to understand this dark speech. It ain't really dark, but it's dark. See, Satan did not approach the spirit of Jehovah that he made. He didn't approach that. For that spirit can't even be deceived, one, but he approached this carnal spirit that Adam retained. His own spirit, his own understanding, his own inner nature, his own surrendered to Jehovah's spirit that he never surrendered to him. So when Jehovah brought this woman his spirit, Adam had the choice to accept this spirit as his guide, his covering, or retain his own spirit to just acknowledge what he had offered. Adam chose name rather than receive. He chose acknowledge rather than submit. He chose to keep his own spirit by giving lip service of the spirit of Jehovah. Actually, I'm going to show you something. I want to show you something. And show you how we like this. I want to show you something in Job. Just show you something in Job. Don't move. Please just stay right there. We're going to look at 32 verse 1. It says, and these three men seeks to answer Job because he was righteous in their own eyes. This is us. Because Job's not a real person, but this shows you us. See, we got to keep, in what we like to keep our own spirit, we like to remain naked in sin without receive the covering of the spirit, the vulnerable to the serpent's approach. This is why we so jacked up. This is why we so caught up. This is why we are so caught up. Today. We don't even know why. We're so caught up today. This is why the serpent can deceive so many of us. If we truly receive the spirit of Jehovah, if we have truly surrendered our own spirits and accepted his spirit as our guide, the serpent would have found no entry point in us. The spirit of Jehovah cannot be deceived by the serpent. It's impossible. That's an impossibility. The spirit of Jehovah would discern the lie immediately. The spirit of Jehovah would lead you away from the tree of death and towards the tree of life. That's automatic. It's because so many of us continue to walk in our own spirits, just acknowledging Jehovah's spirit while never submitting to it. You will, I'm trying to be so deceived by your own spirit, your own understanding, led astray by your own desires, corrupted through your own wisdom. The serpent do not, and it did not deceive the spirit of Jehovah, ever. That's an impossibility. He deceived the carnal spirit that Adam and Eve had retained. The spirit of self that refused to surrender. I don't care how we look at this. We have to consider the proof that had never truly accepted the spirit. So after they ate, after they learned of the tree, after they learned of this tree, the scripture shows you. You know I'm going to pull receipts. Y'all know I'm going to pull receipts on this. Y'all should know that. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Genesis chapter 3, picking up at verse 7. I want to show you. It says, in the eyes of them both, the understanding of them both. Eyes don't mean nothing but understanding. The understanding of them both were open, and they knew they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Are you serious? I want to show you something. We're going to look at Genesis 2:25. I want to show you something. Just put these two together. They knew they was naked. I want to show you in verse 25. It says, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. You catch it? So after they were naked, after the fall, when were they clothed? The churches, these buildings teach they both were naked through sin. But scriptures say they were already naked in Genesis 2:25. They were both naked and not ashamed. But we got to go deeper. We have to go deeper in this. We got to keep going deeper. Some of y'all going to drown. See, they were naked before the fall. They were naked after the fall. The difference is before the fall, they were not ashamed. They didn't recognize their nakedness, their sin, their vulnerabilities. After the fall, they knew they were naked. Their eyes, their understanding were open to see the condition that they had been all along. That's all that happened. They were always in sin because they had never accepted the covering of Jehovah's Spirit. They've always been this vulnerable because they retained their own spirits rather than submitting to the spirit that was brought to them by Jehovah. The fruit did not make them naked. The fruit revealed that they had been naked the entire time. Their eyes was open, meaning their understanding was open. And that always been true. It's uncovered, it's unprotected in sin because they have named the Spirit without receiving the Spirit, acknowledging Jehovah without accepting his governance. So when Jehovah, he was walking along in the garden, in the cool of the day, yeah, he cooling, chilling. Just look at it. See, because he asked one question. He wanted to know one question. You see it in 3:11. Who told thee thou was naked? Who told you was naked? Jehovah knew they had always been naked. When he brought them the woman, he tried to cover them then. Give them understanding. They refused to truly receive it. Now, through the fruit that was finally saw, what Jehovah had always seen and already knew about. Uncovered, sinful, in a vulnerable state. I'm telling you, you can't even make this stuff up. I would love to make up a story like this, but you can't even make up the actual true story. You got to consider even the parables hidden within the garden itself. You want to tell you something? I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story, a true story. We'll use this story. There are two noble trees. Two noble trees. Same thing that's in the garden. The tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. These trees represents two elders. Two ancient sources of wisdom, two paths of understanding, two spirits from whom the spirit of man could receive guidance. Two. So the tree of life represents Jehovah himself, the Ancient of Days. So he is the source of life, the one who wisdom gives life eternal. To eat, to learn of this tree is to receive the knowledge from the eternal elder. So whose understanding brings life. So when the spirit of man feeds upon Jehovah's wisdom, he receives the spirit as a covering and a guide, and it leads him leads him into the path of righteousness. This is clear. But then you got another one. Then you got this other one, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This one represents another elder, this ancient one who possesses knowledge, but those who this knowledge is going to bring you death. Your destiny is death. See, this is the serpent. He's the ancient and honorable. Actually, I'm going to show it to you. That's who he is. I'm going to show it to you. You're going to see it in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 15. You can't miss it. 9:15 is clear. It says, the ancient and honorable, he is the head. That's Satan. The prophet that teaches lies, that's the devil. That's his little henchman. He's the tail. So we got to sit there. We got to understand that this ancient, this honorable head who leads you astray, Satan is the elder who possessed knowledge of good and evil before man was formed. He is the living embodiment of that tree. Ancient, knowledgeable, but deadly. He's deadly at doing this. All who receive wisdom from his mouth rather than from Jehovah's, you on your path to death. And why am I saying what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna show you. Just like I said, I got receipts. See, because Adam and Eve, see, they retained their own spirits. I want you to keep that in mind. But because they just named Jehovah's Spirit without receiving their covering. So they were open to receive from the wrong tree. So what happened? I'm going to show it to you. Told you, I'm going to show you receipts all day. Because we're going to look at Luke chapter 11, but we're going to look at verse 26. We're going to sit there and say, and it says, then goeth out he and taketh on him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, so that entering in, and dwell there, in the last state of that man, that male or female, is worse than the first. Exactly the point. So now he took on 7 more spirits that were worse than the first one. So if he had truly accepted the spirit of Jehovah, he would have been clothed, covered, protected. And the serpent would have found no soil which to take root within him. But their nakedness, their sin of retaining their own spirits, left them vulnerable to this ancient deceiver. You follow me? You follow me? You see what happened? So the woman the spirit operating his own carnal spirit, not Jehovah's spirit, they saw this tree was desired. Actually, I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you in Genesis chapter 3, looking at verse 6. We're going to go through this again. It says, when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that's our carnal spirit, and it was pleasant to the eyes, to the understanding, the tree that we desired to make one wise, she took of that fruit, she took of that knowledge, she took of that work thereof, and did eat. She learned of it. And gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. He learned of it. You see what happened? She was seeing what Satan represented: ancient knowledge, accumulated understanding, wisdom that predict her existence. This is why I say a lot of us not going to make it. She discerned not with the elder knowledge, but real was corrupted. She discerned not to receive wisdom from the source which was to receive death, disguised as enlightenment. See, the carnal spirit of man have never submitted to Jehovah's spirit. It turned instead, it replaced of the ancient deceiver, having been corrupted, led flesh into the same corruption. The same. So now you kind of understand where I'm coming from. Now you see where I'm standing at. You see why my language is talking different. Now you understand why Satan's ancientness, why people lie so much on, they're going to step on the devil's head. It's so stupid. Ignorance. But you see Satan's ancientness, why it makes him so dangerous. He did not just observe Adam and Eve. He observed the messengers before them. He witnessed the creations of the heavenly host. He saw how spirits responded to glory, to position, to honor. He watched as some remained faithful and others entertained thoughts of rebellion. He studied the mechanics of temptation in the heavenly realm before ever applying them to the earthly. I want you to think about what I'm talking about here. When Satan entered into the garden, he brought with him not just his fall, but he brought his observation. I want you to make observation. I want the moderator to put that, he brought his observation. Dangerous. Every spiritual dynamic he had witnessed since time began, he brought in there. Observation. He knew how desires can inflame a spirit. He knew this. He trained at this. He knew how doubt can be planted in the inner nature. The inner nature. Yeah, I'll put it up there. Let me see. They taking a minute. Let me put it on there. I want to put this on there. I want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. Let me do this. So I want to make sure we can sit there and see this here.
And that's the wrong one. Why is it showing that one? Let me see, 1 second. Where's the iPad? It shouldn't show that one, it should show this one. Let me see, it's not showing that one for some reason. Let me see if I can get it back, 1 second. It shouldn't have showed that one. Let me see. Yeah, that's the only one should have showed. Let me see. For some reason, it's not showing it. I don't know why. Let me try it again. Let me try this one. Nope, for some reason, it's still not doing it. It's like it's locked in or something. Let me see. I think I got it. Yep, I got it. Okay, now I got it. Okay, so now I want to just show you what I'm talking about. So, as we're going back, and yeah, that's what I wanted to see. So, we're looking at one observation. We got to look at observation. So, when we're looking at observation, and so we got to look at one observation. Then two, actually, it's not showing on here though. Why it's not showing? Yep, I might not be able to use this because it's not, I actually wrote on there. It is not. Okay. I'm going to tell you what, I just need them to put that in there. Let me sit there and see. Because it's not working for some reason. It's not doing it. It's not doing it for some reason. Even though I'm writing on it, but it's not, I'm not seeing it doing it. So we need one. And the one is, but he went in with observation. We got to keep that in mind. With observation, we got to keep that in mind. Actually, I might can use this one. Yeah, we use this one. Let me do this one. So he went in with observation. So let's do this. So one with observation. That's one. Now the other one he went in with the inner nature. These are what he went in with. We want to make sure we understand that. Now, and he knew the promise would elevate, it could corrupt the heart. So if he went in with these, he knew he can do this. He can corrupt the heart. And let me get that. He knew he can do this. So if he do this, he knew he can do that. That he knew he can do. And the main thing is he practiced this art among the messengers, the angels. He practiced this. This is what his art form was. So this is art that was among angels, this carnal spirit that many simply seen this as his territory, ancient strategies. He knew he had observed from the beginning, Adam only named the spirits rather than received it.
Adam did that. He named them rather than received it. He knew they were naked, though they did not know it. All this Satan knew. He knew their vulnerability, though they felt secure. This is why he could approach with confidence. He was contending with the spirit of Jehovah, which could not be deceived. I want you to think about all this. When we're looking at this, but with the carnal spirit of man, can always be easily led astray. This is why man, male and female, why no man can match the wits of Satan's own spirit. It's an impossibility, but you got men tell these bold-faced lies. We will be in our own perfection, beauty, contending with the intelligence of one that observed the creation of the stars, that witnessed the rebellion in the heaven, that studied the fall of angels before they ever studied the fall of men. I want you to think about that. He had knowledge that is not accumulated, that is not accumulated over a decade of ages, 60, 70, 80 years. His strategies are not developed through trials and error over one lifetime. But this is refined across a millennium of spiritual warfare. I want you to keep that in mind. This is why only to escape to be wiser than Satan, for no flesh can achieve such wisdom. Again, remember the chess game I told you about, the man who played 10,000 games before you. Remember that? I's for yes, N's for no. Remember that? He has seen all this before. So now we're going against someone who played this game before. So we have to look at this. Truly to receive the spirit of Jehovah rather than merely acknowledging it. So when man stops naming spirits and start receiving the spirit, when he surrenders his own spirit and accepts Jehovah's spirit, is why I tell people they need to be rebaptized, because it's a lot of them that did this. It's a lot of them that did this. And it's an open door, and then it's going to come to a closed door. So when the accept Jehovah's spirit is covering this guy, he governs, then he no longer can be naked, no longer in sin, no longer vulnerable to the ancient deceiver. So the serpent cannot deceive the spirit of Jehovah. He only can deceive those who retain their own spirits while speaking the name of God. Satan's ancientness, his strength is against the carnal spirit in his weakness. It's against those who have truly received the spirit of the Most High. I want you to think about all this, because the best example is to give you the one of Lucifer. I'm going to show you, I want you to see this. I want you to see it up close and personal. Isaiah, we're going to look at chapter 14, but we're going to pick it up at verse 12. We're going to read down. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? O Lucifer, how art thou fallen? O Lucifer, how you fallen? What happened, man? Son of the morning? How in the world art thou cut down to the ground, which do weaken the nations? For thou hast said," see, you said in your heart, "I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of the congregations on the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet, thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit." See, before he was an adversary. Who? Lucifer. Before he was an adversary, Lucifer, he was the son of the morning. Look at it. It says, "O Lucifer, son of the morning." See, he's been incredible beauty, his beauty and light. The name Lucifer means light bearer, morning star. So the original position, the function of this heavenly realm, he was not created evil. He was created perfect and beautiful. Everybody with me? Eyes for yes, hearts for ends for no. But I'm showing it to you. You see it. He was created beautiful. Possessing wisdom and splendor reflected the glory of the Creator. But I want you to mark this history and mark this mystery. His fall was not due to external pressure or divine cruelty. His fall came through eternal pride. Eternal pride. The corruption of his own desires through the whispers of Satan. So we got to go deeper. We got to plunge deeper. We got to go deeper. Y'all with me? See, Satan is a spirit of operation. I want you to keep that in mind. He's a spirit of operation. See, not just a single fallen being. Satan is an adversarial spirit. Operate upon Lucifer's desires. How he got Lucifer. Even as now as he operates upon the desires of men. I want you to understand right here in Isaiah 14, I want you to understand these things here. I want to show you this I will. These statements that reveal the progression of the corrupted desires that he whispered into Lucifer. I want you to see, watch this. I want you to see what he says. He said, I will ascend into heaven. Do not he say that? I will ascend into heaven. It says in here. I will ascend into heaven. See, the desire for elevation beyond appointment or this appointed station. And he also said, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Look at it. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. See, this is the desire for authority over others. Watch what he ain't done yet. He said, I will sit on the mount of the congregation. I will sit on the mount of the congregation. The desire for worship and recognition. You see many preachers do that today. Women and men do. I will ascend into the heights of the clouds. See, this is the desire to transcend natural limitations. I want you to look at what he's doing. He said, then here go the catcher. I will be like the Most High. The desire for equality with the Creator. He want to be equal to the great Creator. See, this desire for self-exaltation above Jehovah. So, destiny, arrogance, the sense of superiority perfectly mirror the original pride. See, he believes himself to be above the system, wiser than others, deserving of honor and power that belongs only to the Most High. So I need everybody to clearly hear me as I speak. See, Satan did not just fall by his own pride. He now reproduces the same fall for every son, for every daughter of Adam through the corruption of their God-given gifts. Mark me. I'm going to pull receipts. You know receipts are going to come out. But I want to show you something. We're going to look at this. In Ezekiel, we're going to look at this in 28. I want to show you something. 28, we're going to look at verse 12. And it says, Son of man, this is all of us, take up this lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, thus said the Lord God. You know that ain't good. You know that ain't good when he said it like that. It says, thou sellest them up to some full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Y'all know this ain't good. You know that, right? I just want to make sure everybody know this ain't good. And watch it. It says, thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the stardust, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets, of thy pipes, was prepared in thee in the day thou was created. Boy, we looking good. Thou art an anointed cherubim. We was established cherubim, thy covering, I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain, the separated mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire, his desires. And thou was perfect. You were perfect in thy ways from the day thou was created. Till, there go the problem, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled in the midst of thee with violence. Thou hast sinned. You ain't saying sin we going to, no, this is something we did. Therefore, for that reason, I will cast thee as a profane out of the mountain of God. Yeah, that's why we here. And I will destroy thee. He gonna kill this flesh. Old covering cherub. You old covered cherub. You see, you old covering cherub. You old piece of flesh. Look how he talking to us. You old piece of flesh. From the midst of the stones of fire. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. There go the problem. There go the problem right there. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by the reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee into the ground and lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. So they gonna see it. So I want to counsel you for a minute, because this is all of us. All say who part of this, just say I. All who say no, you need to find you another channel, because you lying to yourself. So we got to hear this understanding. Because the adversary reproduces his own fall in the children of men through corruption. This is what happened. So I want you to consider. I want you to consider something. A young man who even will grow up in flesh. A young man who grows up in flesh appears to become desires within the world. And we can even see a young woman. You see, from her youth, she possesses natural beauty. I want you to understand what I'm saying. She's going to possess natural beauty. You get me? So as she possessing this natural beauty, you see a lot of people going to start looking at her. She's going to get a lot of looks. That's a gift from the Creator. Because he says, for it is written, I will praise thee. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous art thy works. And that my soul knoweth right well. Psalms 39:14. Jehovah quotes at his best. See, this beauty was never meant to be her possession by steward, but it was to be her stewardship. That was all it was meant to be. A reflection of Jehovah's artistry entrusted to the care that people can see. But through her and through most people might glorify the one who fashioned her. I want you to understand what I'm saying. See, when you got these women who just so beautiful, they should have been bearing the image of God. They should have been stewards of that beauty, showing you how beautiful the women are who's worshiping God, to be a reflection of Jehovah's artistry. Everybody follow me. We got eyes for yes. See, now we got people who don't want to put in eyes. Understand me? Speak up. Don't be afraid now. See, you should see some of the most beautiful women in the world. The most beautiful women in the world. She'll be sitting there, they be, man. And she say, no, I'm a servant of God. I belong to him. People, man. See, but the problem is this. See, Satan, remember I told you, he's that ancient, he's that observer. He observes. So he watched her from childhood. I want you to understand what I'm saying. He watched her from childhood. He sees the gift before she even recognizes it herself. I want you to keep that in mind. So as she grows up, Satan begins to whisper in her ear. Boy, boy, oh boy. At first, he whispers, seem innocent. Thou art beautiful. Thou art beautiful. How many of y'all done heard that when you was a little kid? What, you are so pretty. You are so beautiful. How many of y'all done heard that? How many? I'm talking just to the women right now. How many of y'all heard when y'all was kids, like, you are so pretty. Yeah, I want you to get me. See, she hears and she thinks it's just observation. See, but you got to remember this serpent is patient. He's patient. Now his whisper grows. See, when it grows, now he's saying, he's going to whisper in there, thou art more beautiful than all the others. see, now he done up to Annie. You look better than everybody. Then they set them apart. Thy beauty gives you power. It's giving you power. So we got to see this progression of corruption. So the beauty was meant to reflect the Creator's glory. Now it becomes, in her mind, her crown of creation. And it comes her own creation. See, now she began to believe, and she started believing that she made herself beautiful through her choices, through her care, through her efforts. Think about that. She forgets that Jehovah formed her from the womb. He determined the color of her eyes before she was from the foundation of the world. And every feature she possessed came from his hands, not hers. I want you to think about that. But Satan's whispering in her ear, though. He's in her ear. This beauty maketh you superior to those less favored. This beauty means you desire more attention, more admiration, more worship from men. Your beauty is your throne, girl. Girl, they want you. Satan sits back in this, this corruption, I done completed this one. This is why you see so many women. Go to Facebook. You see women walking around with underwear on in just a bra. And they want men to see their shapes and their beauty. And have men gawking over them. Satan say, this corruption complete. I got you. I got you. See, the gift becomes a weapon. The stewardship have become ownership. So the reflection of Jehovah's artistry becomes graven images of self. So she uses her beauty not to glorify Jehovah, but to draw worship unto herself. That's why she been, oh girl, you just so good, you so beautiful. Oh baby, you see all the, and that's all they want. They want people to worship. They looking at it, people just worshiping her. Guys just constantly going back, just looking at her picture. Oh, she's just gorgeous. They just writing all kind of stuff to this girl. And she just getting more and more pumped up. She measures her worth not by service to the Most High, but by the admirations that she extracts from these men. She become a miniature, exactly what Lucifer became. Exactly what Lucifer became. One whose heart is lifted up because of her beauty. One who corrupted the gifts by reason of her own brightness. Can't tell me it ain't true. Actually, he wrote something about it. I just want to show it to you. It says right here in Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 30. Watch what it says here. 31 verse 30. I want you to see this. Don't move. It says, favor is deceitful. Beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. The beauty is vain. Don't let it get you caught up. See, the woman who built herself her own throne upon her beauty must watch the throne crumble every passing year. So then they started getting all these fixtures, butt lifts, breast lifts, facelifts, hair extensions. They started doing all these things, trying to preserve it. She becomes enslaved to the preservation of what cannot be preserved, spending all her substance on which satisfies her not, fighting a war she cannot even win against herself. This is destiny's trap. See, that's his trap. Now you caught in a cycle that you can't even get out of. Botox injections, trying to remove wrinkles from your face, taking fat out of your waist, out of your stomach, and doing all these things to make her worship what Jehovah gave her rather than worship what Jehovah who gave it. What do you think about that? But you had the same identical thing for men. I want you to think about this man. I want you to think about him. Ain't nobody out the woods. But I want you to think about a man who might see corruption operating through this different gift. I want you to see he's going to operate through a different gift. See, a young man, he discovered he possessed natural strength, physical power, have this athletic ability. Oh, he bad. Basketball, baseball, boxing, whatever you put him in. He had a capacity to dominate in competition. This strength is a gift from Jehovah. Actually, let me show you something. Let's go somewhere. And we want to look at this. And we'll see this over here in Isaiah 40. We're going to look at this Isaiah 40. I want to show you something. So Isaiah 40, verse 29. I want to make sure we see this. He giveth power to the faint. And to them that have no might, he increases strength. I want you to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we continue to talk about this. Because he the one do it. But the strength was the moment to be stewardship. It was meant for our stewardship. Given that this might protect the weak, provide for his household, labor for the kingdom, serve the purpose of the Most High. See, but guess what? Satan, here go Satan, who done watch fall after fall. Satan, that ancient observer, he done watch this. He done watch young men like this. He see the gift emerging. He see them muscles developing. He see the competitions being won. The admiration appears, start accumulating. Satan is patient. Remember, he's patient. Then he started whispering. Comes up whispering in the ear. Hey, thou art strong. You strong. Thou art stronger than the others. Thy strength make you superior. He whispering. The young man hears the whispers and think there's his own thoughts. See, that's the catch. They think those his thoughts. His own rightful assessment of himself. He knows he not the seed that was planted by the enemy's hand. He don't know this. Satan whispers a little bit more to him now. Now he's gonna get into more into it. He's gonna get into it. Let me tell you, he say, this strength give you all kind of authority over those who are weaker than you. This strength means that thou shalt rule. This strength is the right to have dominion over everything. He all in their ear now. And then Satan sits back. He sits back, he watch. He watch. See, he done watered that. Now he want to watch it unfolds in that carnal heart. The strength was given to protect, to become instead of a tool to dominate. So the power was given to serve, now becomes a weapon to control. See, he uses this strength not to bear burdens of others. Actually, let me go somewhere. Let me thinking about it, let me go somewhere. Let's look at Galatians chapter 6 and verse 2. Show you something. It says, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fill the law of Christ. Keep that in mind. I want you to keep that in mind. So we see this. But to impose his will upon those who cannot resist him, he measures his worth not by whom he have helped, but by whom he have conquered. You follow me? In relationships, he dominates rather than love. He disputes and intimidates rather than seasons of reason. His household, he rules by fear rather than laws of Jehovah. You see, he become this miniature exactly like Lucifer became. This exact same thing. One who sought to exalt his throne above the stars of God. The one who believes his power gave him the right to rule without reference. One who give the power. See, in bondage follows this equality that's severe. It follows it. See, his strength's going to fade even as beauty fades. See, the man who built his throne upon the physical dominance must watch that throne crumble as his body weakened with age. He had made enemies, and all he dominated. Satan taught one to love him, only fear him. When his strength departs, he have nothing left, no legacy of service, no harvest, no love only. This bitter fruit of pride is consuming itself. I want you to think about that. I want you to clearly think about that. That's going to fade. Many of us have that problem. You know, same thing. I used to bodybuild myself. I used to max out at 525. I max out there. Had 21-inch arms, less than 6% body fat. Okay. $525 would probably kill me. Probably end up breaking elbows and everything else. And I'm talking about, I didn't need a spot. I can actually take it off and push it. So I didn't need somebody to spot it. We got to remember what happens. Satan cannot create. He have no gifts of his own to give. For that reason, his strategy is always to corrupt the gift that Jehovah has given. You got to remember that. He takes beauty in the reflection of a divine artistry, and he turns it into a throne of self-worship. He takes strength, he takes this tool of divine service, and he turns it into a weapon of self-exaltation. He takes wisdom, he takes talent and wealth, influence and position, every gift that Jehovah bestows, and he whispers the same lie. This is yours. This is yours. This is your stuff. This makes you superior. This is the right to glory. This is precisely what happened to Lucifer. Precisely what happened to Lucifer. He sealed up the sun for wisdom, perfect in beauty. He possessed this extraordinary gift from his Creator. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. That's what he says. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. It tells you that over there. People, I don't see it. Yeah, just go right over here. Ezekiel chapter 28, look at verse 17. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Just in case you forgot. I didn't know if you forgot, but it's there. So we'll begin to believe that the gifts belongs to us rather than Jehovah. And that's why he says, thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. So the very excellent of every gift became instruments for his corruption. Women who worshipped her beauty have fallen by the same mechanism. The man who worshipped his strength has fallen by the same identical mechanism. Every soul who takes what Jehovah has given and uses it for self-exaltation, anyone, rather than the divine service, have fallen to the same mechanism that fell the son of the morning. The same identical one. See, the law is absolute and unbreakable. Actually, I want to show it to you. I want to show you something. We see this in James 1:17. And we go to James chapter 1, picking up at verse 17, it says this. It says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Every good one coming from him. Every good one is coming directly from him. But we forgot the source of our gift. We forgot that. We began to descend into the Lucifer fall. We believe our gifts make us superior rather than making us stewards. We have already enthroned ourselves above Jehovah in our hearts. We use our gift to draw glory unto ourselves rather than reflecting glory unto the giver. Think about this. We have already joined the rebellion that began in heaven. And the same thing as what I said is, we got to look at where it's coming from. Remember Isaiah 9:15, the ancient and honorable? Remember that? I showed you that. You see it's right here, the ancient and honorable. It's found in him. He is the head, and the prophet that teaches lies is the tail that whisper those things. So we got to refer, and most of this refers to the false leaders who people was led astray. Satan is the ultimate ancient and honorable, the false leader, the one who once truly, and he's truly honorable, possesses legitimate gifts of genuine position, but now he uses his ancient status and former honor to deceive each and every one of us. His very credentials become his weapons of deception. Every man, every woman who corrupted their gifts is the greater, other than the greatest gift, is the great deception that it is being enabled now. So the more genuine the original honor, the more convincing the counterfeit of authority. So when a woman who truly believes and truly beautiful becomes the most effective idol, men who truly strongest amongst everybody becomes the most dangerous tyrant. The minister who's truly anointed becomes the most destructive false prophet. For Satan cannot create new weapons. He corrupts Jehovah's gifts and turns them against the very purpose from which they are given. I want to show you something. When you're looking at something, I want to show you something. I want you to think about this. We're going to see something in Luke 16, looking at verse 1. We're going to take it down there. And he said unto his disciples, there was a rich man who had a steward, the steward, and was accused of him, and he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear of this? Give an account of thy stewardship, that thou mayest be no longer steward. And when the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig, I cannot beg, I am ashamed. I am resolved what to do. That when I am put out of the stewardship, that I may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of the Lord's debtors, said unto him, and said unto the first, how much oweth thou unto my Lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. He said unto him, take thy bill and sit down quickly and write 50. Then said to the other, how much owest thou? He said, 100 measures of wheat. He said unto him, take thy bill and write thou 80. And the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in this generation wiser than the children of light. This is interesting. The reason this entrusted the master, he squandered them by the inventions of diversion, turning oil of lamps to vain mirrors to gain, sowing the seed of pride. So even Lucifer, see, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, that I show you back over here in verse 12. Let me go back up to verse 12. It says, a tyrant, it says perfect in beauty. Perfect. But you see here, this extraordinary endowment, his heart became lifted up, corrupted by wisdom of his brightness. Tells you that right there in verse 17. It says, thy heart is lifted up because of thy beauty, and thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by the reason of thy brightness. So for the very brilliance of becoming the agent of profane pollution is corrupt, spiritually signifying the defilement, taunting, and tainting the contamination of the holy purpose. The woman idolizing her comeliness, men glorifying their powerless. Each mirrors the fall, extracting altars to self where Jehovah's glory should be inflamed. So I want you to remember something as we continually go down this. I want you to see something. In Job chapter 1 and verse 7, he says something real peculiar. We're going to see this. In 1:7, he says this, the Lord said unto Satan, which comest thou? Then Satan answered and said, going to and fro in the earth, walking up and down it. Just scrolling through the earth. Just walking through the earth. That's all. Just strolling through, just checking out everything. But I want to tell you something. This is not the answer of an idle wanderer. That is not an idle person. That is not an idle spirit. He had merely begun passing time. This report is of a diligent observer, a scout, a spy, conducting this reconnaissance upon the enemy's territory. So I need you to mark this and understand one thing. When Jehovah asked him, which comest thou? This is not because the Most High knows not. He knows all. And he knows all things. But this is to establish the record. Jehovah requires Satan to declare his own activities, that the adversary methods being exposed before the heavenly courts. Satan answered the very nature of his occupation. He constantly moving, watching, gathering intelligence. He studied the ways of men, our weaknesses, our desires, our fears, our patterns, our behaviors. Other points of vulnerability is what he's looking for. He is the ultimate student of human nature. Not for the purpose of helping or healing, but for the purpose of exploiting and destroying. You guys following me? See, this phrase going to and fro, walking up and down, it reveals his thoroughness and his intentionality. He's not randomly wandering in the lost spirit might wander. He is systematically observing. He's looking at vulnerabilities. He's looking at entry points into us. He's looking for opportunities to tempt and destroy. He's looking for conversations he overhears. Every action he witnesses, every pattern he detects. Of all that, he catalogs it in the library of human failure. All of it. Every bit of it. And I want you to mark something, because he had built this ways of deception he have done. He's a master at it. He's a master at this. Let's get something here. We're gonna go to two places. Revelations 13 and 18. But I want to pull one. Genesis 1:31. I want to show you something. Because I want you to understand this dark speech. This is why the number of the beast, 666. And we're going to see this in Revelation 13:18. It says, in the wisdom, here is wisdom. I want you to understand, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for this is the number of a man. And his number is 666. This is not just a number of identification. It is a number of methodology. Everybody follow me. Everybody who understands what I'm saying so far, who've been following me good, just say aye. If you haven't, put no. Lying to me, I hope you go to hell. I'm going to wait till I get some eyes and no's. But I want to understand this. So what I want you to understand is this. This is not merely just an identification. This is his methodology. This is through his millennia of going to and fro about the earth, walking up and down it. See, we got to understand Satan has developed 666 ways to deceive a man. I want you to understand that. 6 ways we got to understand. So what we got to do is look at this. 6 is the number of a man. He was created on the 6th day, the dominion, 131. So it's telling you right here. And we're going to see something. It says, and God saw that everything he had made was good. And remember, it was very good, even when it was the 6th day. So we look at this, but we're going to start to understand some things. 666 represents perfection of carnal knowledge. I want you to mark this. Perfection of carnal knowledge. 666. This is what it actually represents. Satan complete and exhausts his understanding of man's weakness, body, soul, spirit. He has 666 variations of temptation. He has 666 angles of attack. He has 666 customized snares fitted for every type of human soul. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to clearly understand where I'm coming from. This is why the scripture says, let him that have understanding count the number. You see what it says? Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. That's why he says this. So we got to understand what's going on. So for the wise soul who recognize Satan do not have one method of deception, but hundreds, all cataloged and refined through ages of observation. For every human weakness, he have developed multiple approaches. Every personality type, he have crafted specific lures. Every generation, he has adapted his strategies. The 666 ways are his arsenal. Comprehensive, systematic, terrifying, and complete. Everybody follow where I'm coming from? He has built this arsenal, though he's very active in his reports to Jehovah, going to and fro, walking up and down and observing and cataloging the sons of man. So I want you to see some. I'm gonna show you a parable that I don't normally show, but I want you to see it because I need you to clearly understand where I'm coming from. So we're gonna look at something. I want you to look at this bottom right here. We're gonna look at 1 Kings chapter 10, but we're gonna pick it up at verse 14. And I want to show you something that I don't normally show. I haven't showed it, I know, never here, ever. But I want you to see this because I want you to understand Satan. And we're going to look at this in 10:14. Now, the reason why I want you to see this because I want you to witness the dark understanding of the similitude of the king of wisdom who fell, Solomon. I want you to understand this. It is written in Chronicles also, but I want you to see this, how you see it, how it's going. Now, we're going to look at this in 10:14. It says, now the way to go that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold. You see it. You catch it. Let's break it down. You see it. Catch it. Let's break it down. See, why did the Spirit of Jehovah record this specific weight? Why did he record this? Why not 600 talents or 700 or around this easily remembered? See, because this similitude of perfection of carnal knowledge made manifest unto us. This is why this is the first time, I guarantee you ain't heard it nowhere else. You might hear it everywhere else on a lot of lying channels where they're going to try to repurpose it. But you got to understand, Solomon was the wisest man to ever live, and he gathered the maximum weight of earthly glory that man can behold before the heart turned from Jehovah. See, the number 666 is not just a digit for or of identification. It is a weight by the world system of heavily burdened gold, glory, wealth, power that crushes stewardship of the soul. It's automatic. You can't get around this. So we got to look at this. And we got to look at the progressions of Solomon's fall, because he began with wisdom from Jehovah. He built the temple of Jehovah. He walked in the statutes of Jehovah. But year by year, the gold accumulated 666 talents annually until the weight, the carnal glory, exceeded the strength, the spiritual devotion. So to make sure we understand this, let's go up to verse 4 to get the understanding. One part I'm going to keep away because if everybody try to use it, they're going to fumble. That's what I already know. So I'm going to keep one part away. It says, when the queen of Sheba has seen all Solomon's wisdom in the house that he had built. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. That belonged hearts and everything else, because that was deep. So the wisest man was not deceived by ignorance. The wisest man was not deceived by ignorance. He was crushed by the weight of 666. Meaning he did not lack knowledge. He was buried beneath the gold of carnal knowledge. This is Satan's methodology. It's power to wait in the world systems upon man's until he breaks. So we got to understand 666 talents of gold is the similitude of 666 ways of deception. Both represent complete, comprehensive, exhaustive system which Satan corrupts even the wisest man that ever lived. You can't tell me it ain't no joke. So people shouldn't be saying on a song, we're going to step on the devil's head. That's the stupidest thing in the world. It got Solomon. So we got to unfold this. We got to look at this. The 600-fold, the six-fold nature of man, the circuit of 666. So Satan corrupt man dominion, this system of 666. It is this, now we can call this Trinity, fleshly perfection that targeted the three areas of man's being. Yeah. So first six, let's break it down. We're going to look at this. We're going to look at the first six. Actually, I'm going to start here and we're going to move it over. So the first six, we're going to get to understand it. In James chapter 3 and verse 15, we're going to look at something. 3:15. And it says, this is wisdom descending not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. Exactly the point. So the first six is carnal intellect. This is wisdom that becomes earthly, sensual, devilish. See, Satan attacks the mind with 6 multiplied by 6 variations of false wisdom, philosophies, religions, ideologies, reasoning. This that seems right in man, but whose end is destruction. You follow me? See, you ain't gonna find this in no comment. You ain't gonna find it in no commentary. It's in scripture though. See, he offers knowledge without Jehovah's understanding, without spiritual enlightenment, without submission. So there's a tree of knowledge of good and evil, perpetually offered ancient wisdom from the wrong elder, accumulated knowledge from the serpent's library. But we got to look at the second 6. See, second 6 is carnal will. Where can we find it? Don't worry. I promise you, I'm going to show you everything. And we're going to look at this in Isaiah. We're going to look at 14:13. 14:13. He says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. Bingo. This is the second 6. Like Lucifer, Satan attacks the will. This is 6 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 6 variations. Self-exaltation, ambition, pride, independence, the autonomy that drives and makes the name for oneself rather than to glorify Jehovah. Every temptation to be as God's flows from this second 6. You follow me? Every whisper that they choose is from thy own. Their destiny, their own hands, they need no master but thyself. This is the variation. This is the carnal will under assault. You follow me? You got a third 6. You got a third 6. See, the third 6 is carnal desires. The third 6 is carnal desires. I'm sure it to you. Let's look at this. It's in Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 16. We got to look at it. And it's telling us right here. It says, but thou shalt not multiply horses, doctrine to himself. You see that? Don't multiply doctrines to yourself, nor cause people to return to the house of bondage. Don't do that. And that's how he called. To end, there should multiply doctrine, for as much as the Lord has said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more this way. Don't you go back to the house of bondage, neither shall you multiply wives, these spirits unto yourself. For thy heart shall not turn away, neither shall he multiply unto himself gold, silver, and gold. See, this is what Satan's attack. Satan attacked the desires. 6 multiplied by 6 variations, the flux, the cravings, the hunger, more and more thirst not to be satisfied, the accumulation that knoweth no limit. This is how Solomon fell. And I never showed nobody this. It got a couple other keys in there. Oh, I already know you ain't gonna find it, so I ain't worried about it. But the main thing is, this is how Solomon fell. I'm just not showing you a couple of keys. He gathered the 666 talents of gold. He gathered 700 wives and 300 concubines, all spiritual. He gathered the horses of Egypt, the house of bondage, in direct violation of the law. You see what happened to him now. The carnal desire, once unleashed, knowing no boundaries until it hatched, consumed the soul entirely, is what happened to Solomon. And nobody really knows what happened. They just thought the wives and everything. But you see what happened. Satan knew this from the beginning. He knew what to do. Satan's 666 ways is what got him. Not random lists scattered without order. They're a complete circuit of deception that targeted these 3 areas of man being in perfect synchronization. So when he cannot corrupt the intellect, he going to attack the will. He cannot corrupt the will, he going to attack the desire. When one avenue fails on him, he has 665 more avenues through which he can actually enter through those gates. This is, I'm just going to name this, and we can put this down there. But I want to make sure we understand where I'm coming from. We're going to call this perfection of imperfection. Is what he's doing. He's doing perfection of imperfection, the maximum limit of what man achieved without the spirit of Jehovah. So it is a ceiling of carnal accomplishments, the boundary of fleshly wisdom, full measure of what natural man can attain. Right there in front of you. Solomon reached the ceiling of the wisest man, the greatest wealth that ever expanded in the kingdom. He chose not to, he want more. So he fell because of 666 was not enough. It was not enough. The perfection of carnal knowledge was still imperfection, which measured against the infinity wisdom of Jehovah. You see the complexity here. You see the complexity. See, Satan's final deception within the 666 to make man believe that the ceiling is the sky and the boundary is freedom. So the fullness measure is fullness on what he had. He whispers, thou hast achieved the maximum. Thou art complete. Thou need nothing more. But the man have achieved 666. He achieves only the perfection of flesh. Flesh profiteth nothing. Now you catch it? He climbed to the highest peaks of the carnal mountain, only to discover that the mountain is the valley when he's seen from the highest of the spirits. You follow me? This is why scriptures warn you. Let him that have understanding count the number. Him that have understanding, let him count the number. The wise soul counted 666 and recognizes this is the number of a man, the maximum of human achievement submitted to carnal knowledge, the perfection of flesh. But the wise soul also recognizes 666 is not 777, is not divine completion, is not 888. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? It's not the number that falls short of divine perfection. It remains a trap. The sixth day without entering the seventh day of rest. 666 offered the ways because he this is what he knows. He can't offer 777 because 777 belongs to Jehovah. 7 times 70. So he only can offer the perfection of flesh, the comprehensive, exhaustive, terrifying, complete, but still limited to the realm of man. The soul that recognizes its limitation, the soul that escapes the 666 ways, he can see that Satan's maximum is still minimum when it measured against the infinite grace of the Most High. You can't even get around it. So we gotta look at things in a better way. Consider how a merchant in this world, when he learned to study the children of men and later becomes this large corporation and employ what we'll just call these like algorithms. Just call them algorithms. Invisible watchers that tracks every moment of a soul makes in this digital realm. He searches for things online. Guess what? The algorithm records it. When you linger on an image, I'm just saying any image, I don't care what kind of image it is. The algorithm measures the seconds of your attention of it. When you purchase something, whatever it is, the algorithm notes it just what you brought. When you brought it, how often do you buy it? What else you consider before choosing it? These corporations boost what they call desires. So before you know yourself, Satan has studied the pattern of billions. And Satan has discovered that human behavior is predictable. You follow me now? It's predictable. See, man who searches for one thing will likely search for another. A woman who buys a certain hour will likely begin to buy again at that same hour. A youth who responds to one image will respond to the same similar images. A merchant who learned to anticipate the desires and place temptation in the path before the soul even recognized the craving.
That's the way of Satan. That's the way of destiny. See, Satan invented this methodology. This methodology. That's a creation that he did. So before any corporation existed, his original algorithm have already been going to and fro on the earth, walking up and down it. He already was doing this. He was already doing this. Since the garden cataloging every man's pattern, every weakness, every predictable response, the corporation learned from observing hundreds of millions over decades and decades and decades a year. So Satan has observed over billions over thousands of years. Think about it. Satan done watched this for thousands of years. His library is incomprehensible, vast, it's deep. He knows what your father desired. He knows what your father desired. He knows what your father's father desired. He watched the same pattern repeat across generation after generation after generation after generation. And he gonna step on the damn little hand. Really? Are you serious? Each fall witness taught him a new method. He watched the same pattern repeat across generations, and all he do is he refined his temptation with surgical precision. That's all he's doing. So over all these thousands of years of his reconnaissance, he has perfected 666 distinct pathways to destruction. He knows which of those 660 ways will work on you. He knows this. As long as you stay in the flesh, you at his mercy. So I know some people's in that. Wow, yeah. I'm just being upfront with you. We have to be upfront with this. But I want you to consider the darker side. It's darker? Yeah, it get darker. Yeah, it get way darker. I want you to, okay, think about this. Look at it this other way. A predator who is fixed upon the victim. A predator who has fixed his eyes upon the victim. Before he strikes, before this predator strikes, he's going to study it. He studies. He learns the schedule. He leaves for work. He knows the time. When she returns, he knows the time. Which routes they travels, he knows where they go. He watches her habits. So where she stops for coffee, whom she speaks with, who she may smile at, what makes her afraid. He knows her vulnerabilities. Does she live alone? Does she check her surroundings? Does she trust too easily? See, this predator do not attack randomly. He waits for the ultimate moment. When is she most vulnerable? What distracts the most isolate? He have done his reconnaissance. He knows exactly where to position himself, exactly what to say, exactly how to appear non-threatening until it's too late. Same thing you see a lot of people do, especially a lot of women. You see a lot of women doing it, and I done told many women about doing that. See, a lot of you guys, y'all are getting your cars at night when it's dark, and you are going through your phone and you text people back and forth, texting, and it's dark. Somebody's watching you. And when you get striked, it's on you. Because you was at the perfect opportunity to do it. You can be at your home, you can be at your job parking lot, you can be in your garage, you can be anywhere. But if you're just sitting in your car and you texting and somebody sees you, or you on your phone and you in your car, somebody's watching. They're gonna look at your habits. And they will get you. It's just a matter of time. You can be anywhere because you're sitting there. When you get in your car, all you should do is get in your car and leave. You text when you get to your location in your office or in the department store or your shopping area. You go in there and you text. You go in there and make your phone calls while you're walking. But when you stay stationary, they watch your habits.
They look at your habits. And when they see your habits is like that, that makes you vulnerable. And then when you get got, you're going to try to sit there and say that's the world's fault. No, that's your fault. Because he looked at your habits. He watched you. See, Satan is the ultimate stalker for souls. And he tells you this, I want to show you something. Just let's look at something. In 1 Peter, it says this, 5 and 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because the adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour. Exactly the point. Exactly the point. See, the lion do not chase every gazelle in a herd. He select the vulnerable one. He select the young one. He select the sick one. He isolates the distracted. He watches the herd until it identifies the weakness. Then he strikes with precision. See, Satan already has studied you. He knows your schedule. When you are strong in prayer, when you are weary and neglectful. He knows your habits. He knows your turn to comfort, triggers your anger. He know what does all this, what stirs your lust. He knows your vulnerableness. He knows your secret schemes. He knows your unhealed wounds, the areas of your spiritual blindness, and he waits. And he waits for the ultimate moment. So when you will not tempt you with your greatest weakness, when your guard is at its highest, he won't do it. He wait until you have exhausted and you are exhausted. When you are discouraged and when you have just experienced your spiritual victory with the vigilant and you have relaxed. And from his 666, his 666 ways, then he selects. He goes through, licking his fingers, just looking through his notebook, turning the pages, and he selects a precise method fitted for your particular soul. This will get you. This is the one to get him. This is the perfect one to get him. He don't waste his temptations on covetousness upon a man whose weakness is lust. Why? That's stupidity. He don't employ a snare of pride upon the soul whose vulnerableness is fear. That's stupidity. He's 666 ways he gives his options. His millennium of surveillance tells him which option to deploy against which target. I'm just stepping the devil. No, you're not. We're ignorant to that. You got to consider the deceiver who makes his living by fraud. Before he approaches his mark, he gathers the intelligence. He already knows what you're about. He already knows what to get you. He learns to mark desires. Do he want wealth? Do he want recognition? Do he want love? Do he want security? He learns to mark fears. He learns your poverty. He learns your loneliness. He learns your insignificant ways. He learns to mark self-image. He sees himself as wise, shrouded, compassionate, deserving of good fortune. The skill of this con artist then customizes his deception. He's going to customize, oh yeah, I know how to get him. I know how to get this guy. This guy's easy to get got. He think he ain't going to get got, but I'm going to get him. I'm going to get this dude. And he customizes this deception to match what he have learned from you from the reconnaissance. The man who desires wealth, guess what? He offers him investment opportunities. Investment opportunities. You know what to get you. The woman who feared loneliness, guess what he do? Guess what he do? He offers a companionship. The soul who believes himself wise, he presents a scheme only for smart people. This is for somebody with high intelligence. So this ain't for stupid people. We need some people that's really, really smart. That's me. That's me, yeah. And only smart people can understand this. So if you invest this $59, you got to be smart. You one of the smart ones. That's me. Oh, good, it's $59. Yeah, you just got set up. The con becomes so subtle when he approaches those who already possess what others desire. You got to consider the woman who look upon herself in the mirror and all she sees is perfection. She looking, ooh, dang, I'm just so fine. Everybody just want me. I done seen them, met them. I know women who actually told me about they had boyfriends and stuff. Do you know, I can tell you 90 men who want me. I know I look good. You know how many women I heard that from? Tons. Her shape is her desires. Oh, men look at my body and they just, ooh, dang, they think I'm just this. Her face pleases her own eyes. Her appearance draws the admiration of all who sees her. She had what other women strive for. Other women, ooh, she is just so pretty. She is just a. What kind do the adversary run up on her? You say, what kind of kind he gonna run up on her? He got one for her. He got one for everybody. He don't offer her beauty. Why he gonna offer her beauty? She already possesses it. Why would he offer somebody who's already they see beautiful? Why would he offer her beauty? He offers her worship. I know she easy to get. I'm gonna offer her worship. He whispers in the ear, "You're more beautiful than all the others. Your beauty is your power. Men will serve you because of thy beauty. Women should envy you because of thy perfection. Your shape is your throne you sit upon, and you're going to have the world going to bow before you." Guess what? That's all them women do to all those ball players. The real pretty ones, you see, them dudes look like they backed into 14 trucks. And you're sitting with the most beautiful women in the world. And them same women, they get them. Why? Because they want that woman. And that woman said, yeah, I have a child with you. I need a guarantee. I need some guarantee. So if you decide to leave, I'm going to get paid. See, the con is not to give her what she lacks, but to make her worship what she have. See, to transform her gift into her God, her blessing into an idol. So she believes herself to be wise because of the admiration she receives. They see not what she don't have been kind into worshiping herself. Actually, let me see this running me. Let me go to Sirach real quick. Sirach 9, verse 8. Let me show you something. It says, "Turn away thy eyes from a beautiful woman and look not upon another's beauty." Exactly the point. Exactly the point. So you got to consider that a man, when he just signed his $100 million contract that I was telling you about, when he signed that athlete, the executive entertainer who have achieved what only certain men only dreamed of, what kind do this adversary run upon him? What are you going to do upon him? He got something for him. When this man, I done signed me a $45 billion contract. Yeah, dude, come on, bro. Come on, man. What are you going to offer him? He offered him godhood. He going to offer him godhood. He whispered, "You have earned this. You earned this. Your talent, your hustle, your sacrifice brought you here. You are a self-made man. You owe nothing to anyone. This is your money. This is your money. And the proof is in your superior and as common men. who spend incountable time trying to be like you. Your contract is your crown, that $100 billion contract. That's the con. Give him what he lacks. Give him what he lacks. That's all he does. And then guess what? He believes he's this God. You go there. You see a whole lot of football players back. They think they're gods walking around. They think their own ability got them that wealth. They think their own talent got them their wealth. But I want to show you something that'll tear all that down. I want to show you something in Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 8:18, it tells you this. It says, but thou shalt remember this, the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. See, he gave you that ability. He gave you that talent to do what you do, that he may establish his covenant, which he has sworn unto his fathers as it is this day. It was him that did it. But you want to sit there and think you got that talent by what you do. I'm telling you. See, the man got this $100 quadrillion contract. He gonna forget all about Jehovah. He gonna play exactly on this day, on the Sabbath. He gonna run on that day because he the one did it. He actually even start thinking about God. They call him the universe. They call him anything but God, especially Jehovah. His own blessings in that moment. The con, his pride, same thing that took out Lucifer. See, the con succeeded because it's tailored for the specific vulnerability. You got to remember, he targets that specific vulnerability. That's what he's looking for. What's vulnerable. See, you got all this talent, and what he do? He make you start worshiping you. Now you think you some God. So you got to mark this wisdom. The greatest con is not to run upon those who lack, but those who possess. See, it's easier to make a man worship what he already have than to make him chase what he don't have. You follow me? It's way easier to make a man to worship his God-given abilities than to make him chase an ability that God given to someone else. Way easier. See, the woman with the perfect beauty, the man with the $100 quadrillion contract, are not tempted with more. They're tempted to make gods of what they already hold. You follow me? This is the deadliest kind of all. The deadliest kind of all. Blessed in truth and enslaved into their own blessings. Satan, he's good at what he does. He had ran the longest con in history, and all he do is customize his deception for every soul on earth. He do not tempt the miser with gluttony, nor with the glutton with covetousness. He knows which bait fits what hook. Going to him about the earth. In his research phrase, walking up and down it. In his reconnaissance or in his investigation, he gathers the intelligence necessarily to customize your destruction. You can't tell me he ain't good. He's good at what he does. We got to remember, he got 666 ways are in his playbook. 666 different cons, 666 ways, different approaches, 666 ways lies dress, and 666 different disguises. Some of the 666 ways appeal to the flesh, lust, gluttony, slothfulness, addiction. Some appeal to the soul, pride, envy, wrath, bitterness. Some attack the pride, doubt, despair, false religion, spiritual deception. See, we gotta understand, he have for the young, he have ways for the old, he has ways for the middle. He has ways for the poor, he has ways for the rich, he has ways for the ignorant, he has ways for the educated. No soul gonna escape his category. Somewhere in those 666 methods, There's a snare designed specifically for you. You got my name on it? Yeah, it got your name on it. It got your name on it. But we got to get the deeper understanding of the 666 ways. See, the adversary's playbook is not just about 666 methods. It is 666 within the 666, within the 666 without the end. So you got to remember the example on what he said. Actually, I want to show it to you. I want to show it to you, just thinking about it, show it to you. You're going to see something. In Matthew chapter 5, in verse 28. And he said unto you, that whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her had committed adultery with her already in his heart. Why won't you see that? I want you to see something. So this is adultery of the body to where people commit. But you can see the physical act, but you can see there's adultery of the eye. Did you catch it? Just looking at it. You're saying the wrong thing. You just got caught. So there's adultery of the mind. Fantasy, entertain, imagine, indulge. There adultery of the heart, emotional attachment formed to one who is not your spouse. You got adultery through technology, through images on the screen. You got conversational secrets, connection to hidden their marriage beds. The adultery of comparison, looking upon your spouse and wishing you were with another. There's adultery of negligence, withholding from your spouse what is due, driving them towards temptation. All this is there. Within each form, there are 666 more variations within that adultery of the eye alone. Satan has 666 ways to place the wrong image before you, 666 different settings, 666 different circumstances, 666 different types of temptations calibrated by 666 different weaknesses. You think Satan playing with you? You think he playing a game? See, the man who would never enter a house of harlots will still stumble upon the image of his own home. A woman who would never seek another man may find her heart drawn through the words of books of fantasies of a story. See, the youth who guards his eyes in public, you got to remember, who guards his eyes in public also can fall to privacy in his own chamber. Each interest point have 666 variations. Each variation has 666 sub-variations. You follow me? Let me pull this a little bit closer. Let's go a little bit closer. Let's look at Jeremiah. And we're going to look at Jeremiah 17 and verse 9. It's telling you the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Most High. So I need you to answer something. Satan knows it. He have mapped every corridor, every human deception, because 666 ways contain 666 ways contain 666 ways. An endless network maze of snares, each passage leading to another passage, each trap connected to another trap. So we got to consider what is going on when man resists the temptation of physical adultery. Satan do not abandon him at all. He simply moves to the next of his 666 variations within his adultery playbook. He offers the adultery of the eye. If the man resists, Satan moves again. He offers the adultery of emotional attachment. The man resists, Satan moves again to the offer of adultery of comparison. If the man resists, he still got 665 more variations. Satan still have one more. And if by some means the man resists all 666 variations of adultery, guess what Satan does? Satan moves to the next primary 666 ways, which can be pride of his own resistance, which contain within his own 666 variations. Satan is not playing with you. He's not playing with us. This is not a single battle of of an infinite war. Satan's 662 ways is not listed to be memorized and avoided. We are a living system. We are within this matrix here today, constantly adapting endless branches, perpetually finding new angles of attack on us. So within every sin are 666 ways of committing it. Within every way of committing it is 666 circumstances to enable it. Within every circumstance are 666 variations of approach. And the number is not just 666. It is 666 multiplied by 666 multiplied by 666 unto infinity. The devil's not playing with you. But people will sit there, oh, he playing. No, he ain't playing with you. That's why I said, even if you can identify and resist thousands of snares, there are millions more. Even if you could memorize every variation of every temptation, the adversary will create new variation calibrated by specific resistant patterns. He's going to and fro in the earth, walking up and down it. He never ceases. He never slows down until he finds his target. He has 662 ways that are not complete. Work, an ongoing operation, perpetually expanding, perpetually refining, perpetually customizing. He's constantly doing this. But here lies the hopelessness of flesh, absolute necessity of the spirit. Excuse me. We have to have one thing. You cannot, it's impossible for you to outthink 666 within 666 within 666. You cannot outprepare an enemy with the infinite variations. You cannot build walls high enough when the adversary has 666 ways to go over, 666 ways to go under, 666 ways to go around it, 666 ways to conceive you to open the gate yourself for him. The only victory is to step out of the system entirely, to walk not in flesh, where his 666 ways have power, but in spirit. He has his endless variations will always amount to nothing if you walk in spirit. Then it's impossible for him to attack you. This is why temptation that destroyed one man have no power over another. Satan knows which 662 ways will work on each. His approach, Eve, was our flesh, not the lust of the flesh primarily. It was the pride of life. And I'm going to show it to you. Because I'm going to show it to you right here in Genesis chapter 3, looking at verse 5. It tells you right there. It says, in the day that you know there, your eyes should be open, your understanding should be open. You should be as gods, knowing good and evil. Got him. Got him. This is why you watch who you learn from. This is why you don't play the game. He approaches the same way he approached Job, not with the sensual temptation, but with the loss and suffering, seeking to break his integrity. He approached Yahushua, Jesus, in the wilderness with three careful chosen temptations: hunger of the body, pride of the soul, power of the spirit, each calibrated for the moment in the circumstance. You got to consider how this kingdom works in this matrix. Gathering the intelligence of the enemy. Plant this operative who blend with the population, who walks among the people. We got to understand, Satan is always true to what he's doing. He's watching, recording, reporting. These spies know which civilization, which citizen is discontent, which is corruptible, which have secrets, can be leveraged. He maps your social networks. He speaks with whom you trust, whom you hold influence over. They identify the pressure points. He caused the leaders to be compromised. He caused the generals to deflect. All intelligence is gathered not for understanding's sake at all. is for exploitation. We got to get this. This is the agency where these things happen. This is where this goes on. We're going to have to stop here because this cat didn't caught me. I didn't know this. I didn't know I went over that, but this cat is not playing with you. He's not playing. But let me I'll pick this up. Well, we'll get on more on this. Because this cat is not playing with nobody. So what we're going to do, we're going to pick up next week on this and finish out some more. Because we got a whole lot. We got a whole lot more. We got a whole lot more to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into our Zoom. As I said, we have some beautiful announcements getting ready to go back there, as well as the kids class and everything else. So hopefully that everybody enjoyed it. And tomorrow we will be having Bible therapy with Deacon Ant. And the same thing is, some people miss the link where you see it, but you can also go to KJBU.org, and you can get the link from there, and you can come into the class. And that'll be 6 a.m. Pacific time, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And then also we can you can also look at going through there, and as we continually be moving forward, hopefully that each and every person be able to join us on tomorrow as we go through that. But make sure that what we was going through here, you clearly understand what was happening. Because as I said, Satan is not playing with us. But just as I said again, many of us is still going to play with Satan. And that's why, I talk the way I talk, because I already know a lot of people going to let that pride stay with them. So you're the ones I'm really not speaking to. I'm speaking to the ones who truly want to change over their lives. Because many people has been baptized, and many people is did exactly what I just showed you. Many of them acknowledged Christ, but they never took on the Spirit. So with that, we're going to end here. We're going to get ready to start up. We're going to go into Zoom, and we're going to go through there, and we're going to have a few things going on. And we do have a few announcements back there that we're going to announce back there, which will be happening. And then also, we're gearing up for Tabernacles. So hopefully until we meet again, until we all get together, I say to each and every person, until then, shalom.